अस्सलामुअलैकुम टू एवरीबॉडी। मैं सबका खुशी से खैर-आमद करती हूँ इस शो में, जिसका नाम है यूथ एंड पॉलिटिक्स यानी कि नौजवान और सियासत। आज का हमारा टॉपिक बहुत ही इसी सिमिलर मौज़ू पे बेस्ड है, जिसका है कि हाउ कैन वी मोटिवेट, हाउ कैन वी अट्रैक्ट यूथ टुवर्ड्स द पॉलिटिक्स। और अगर हम बात करें यूथ की, यंगस्टर्स की, हमारा पूरा देश, हमारी पूरी कंट्री यूथ से भरी पड़ी है और कुछ वर्किंग क्लास से बिलॉन्ग करते हैं, कुछ पॉलिटिकल फील्ड से बिलॉन्ग करते हैं, कुछ अलग-अलग फील्ड से बिलॉन्ग करते हैं। बट आज हम पर्टिकुलरली बात करेंगे कि यूथ और पॉलिटिक्स का क्या कनेक्शन है एंड हाउ कैन वी अट्रैक्ट यूथ टुवर्ड्स द पॉलिटिकल फील्ड मोर एंड मोर। सो आज इसी बारे में हमसे बात करने के लिए हमारी एक गेस्ट आई हैं। शी बिलॉन्ग्स टू स्कॉस्ट कश्मीर। शी इज़ अ यूनिवर्सिटी स्टूडेंट। I very cordially welcome Rutba Gulzar from Scotch, Kashmir.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is
Walaikum
Rutba
assalam.
Gulzar, and
Uh,
I am very thankful to RNA News for giving me the opportunity to be here.
mhm.
And I am looking forward for the evening, and I'm thankful.
We are really glad to have you here. I really welcome you at this platform. एंड जैसा कि मैं ऑलरेडी बोल रही थी यूथ के बारे में, यंगस्टर्स के बारे में, सियासत के बारे में, तो व्हाट आर योर व्यूज अबाउट यूथ एंड पॉलिटिक्स?
When we talk about youth and politics, there are a lot of things जो हमारे दिमाग में आती है। पहले ही जब हम politics सुनते हैं तो हमारे दिमाग में like assemblies आती हैं, policies आती हैं, and अब फिर जब हम उस चीज़ को youth के साथ link करें तो there is a gap between the present youth and the politics going on. So yeah, when we talk about politics related to the youth, there is a huge gap between the both of them. To include यूथ इनटू द पॉलिटिक्स, ऐसी कुछ चीजें होनी चाहिए जिससे यूथ पॉलिटिक्स की तरफ आए और इससे इन्फ्लुएंस हो और अपना आप इंक्लूड करे इन द पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ देयर कंट्री।
हम्म। तो जैसा कि मैं ऑलरेडी हम बात करना स्टार्ट कर चुके हैं, मैंने उतनी देर नहीं ली प्रोग्राम स्टार्ट करने को। आई केम जस्ट स्ट्रेट टू द टॉपिक। तो व्हाट आर योर व्यूज अबाउट, लाइक व्हाट आर द बैरियर्स बिटवीन लाइक द यूथ एंड द पॉलिटिक्स, लाइक द पॉलिटिकल फील्ड? बिकॉज जैसा कि हमने पिछले जो यूथ एंड पॉलिटिक्स के प्रोग्राम किए हुए हैं, उसमें हमारे टॉपिक्स यही रहते थे कि, और कॉन्टेक्स्ट यही रहता था कि काफ़ी बैरियर्स हैं, यूथ आगे नहीं आ रहा, बहुत सारी पर्टिकुलर रीजंस की वजह से। सो व्हाट आर योर व्यूज अबाउट दैट? डू यू वांट टू मेक एनी स्टेटमेंट अबाउट इट?
Okay, so if we think about it, जो politics है, the youth of a nation are not much aware about the political processes going on. They are not much aware the civic education, जो basic education होनी चाहिए एक youth के पास, as a nation holder, as a nation, as being the part of the nation, जो political awareness होनी चाहिए, वो youth lack कर रहा है. There is lack of civic education. There is limited access टू पॉलिटिक्स। अगर हम अपनी बात करें, राइट नाउ वी आर इन अ यूनिवर्सिटी, हमें पॉलिटिक्स का कुछ उतना इन्फ्लुएंस नहीं है अपार्ट फ्रॉम नोइंग दैट हु इज इन पावर एंड हु इज रूलिंग एंड व्हाट इज गोइंग ऑन।
Student
वी डोंट
presidents
नो,
and CRs, exactly.
we don't clearly know how it works, what are the processes involved in it. And
Mhm.
the thing is, like, auric barrier we can talk about is there is no one who is representing. There are, I would say, there are few people only who are representing youth at the political level. There are a lot
Mhm.
of, I would say, there is a generation gap between, I would say, political thing going on right now. So the people who are in power right now are like too much elder than the present current youngster generation. So that is what creating, that's what is creating a barrier there, because people are unaware, the youngsters are unaware that who is there and what they want, and the parties like and the political leaders who are ruling and who are in power are unaware about the fact that what the youth wants. और फिर इस सब से
Mhm.
एक एक कॉमन यूथ को यही लगता है कि मे बी द पॉलिटिक्स हैज टू डू नथिंग विद मी, ये तो अपने काम कर रहे हैं, दे आर मेकिंग
अपने
देयर
काम
ओन
से काम
पॉलिसी.
रख रहे हैं।
So
हुँ,
what
हुँ।
is our say in that? What do we as the citizens of our nation need to do about
तो
it? Because we
हमारा
can
टॉपिक
get us so lightly.
एग्ज़ैक्टली हमारा टॉपिक आज एग्ज़ैक्टली इसी बारे में है कि जैसा कि आप कह रहे हो कि वहाँ पे मतलब यूथ डज़न्ट हैव द अपॉर्च्युनिटीज़, दे आर नॉट गिविंग द अपॉर्च्युनिटीज़, इस चीज़ की वज़ह से उनका इंटरेस्ट लूज़ हो रहा है। सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक व्हाट थिंग्स वी शुड अडॉप्ट एंड अडैप्ट फॉर लाइक द यंगस्टर्स टू बी पार्टिसिपेटिंग इनटू द पॉलिटिकल फील्ड? सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट दैट?
See, first and foremost, that the thing that should be done is like letting the youth know about what really politics is. जो इसके barriers है, उन्हीं में इसका answer भी है. It's
हुँ,
like
हुँ।
the things which are limiting us from joining politics have the answer in its own. Like has the answer
यस,
in its own.
एग्ज़ैक्टली।
Like the, for example, हमारी basic education school से start होती है. There should be proper awareness कि आप अगर एक nation के part है, तो how your nation is working, how is the political process, how are the political processes going on in your nation, and that's something which needs to be like in focus from the very
हुँ, हुँ।
beginning. People should be like the youngsters should be made aware how their country is run.
हुँ, हुँ।
और उसके अलावा there should be like right now we are in a digitalization era, I would say. So there should
हुँ,
be
हुँ।
more awareness among the youth related to the political scenarios in our country. There should be reforms with respect to that. We should have our like group, we should have our representative in assemblies, like a particular group or minority, या मे बी माइनॉरिटी ग्रुप लाइक द वे जैसे हर किसी
हुँ,
लाइक माइनॉरिटी का अपना एक रिप्रेजेंटेशन होता है, उनकी अपनी एक रिजर्वेशन होती है इन चीजों को लेके. यूथ्स के लिए भी एक पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप होना चाहिए, एक पार्टी होनी चाहिए जो उनको रिप्रेजेंट करे, जो जिनके ख्याल वो आगे, जो यूथ के ख्याल आगे बढ़ा
रिप्रेज़ेंट
पाए,
करे,
लोगों के लिए
एग्ज़ैक्टली। हुँ, हुँ।
रिप्रेजेंट करे उनको. तो दैट इज रियली नेसेसरी, ताकि जो ये बैरियर बन चुका है पॉलिटिक्स और यूथ के बीच में, ये खत्म हो जाए.
हुँ। हुँ, हुँ। सो आपको क्या लगता है कि जो आप कह रहे हैं कि मतलब एक बैरियर ख़त्म हो जाए, सो हमेशा एक बैरियर ख़त्म करने के लिए एक मीडियम ज़रूरी होता है। लाइक इफ देयर आर 2 पार्टीज़, इफ लाइक इट्स नॉट अबाउट पॉलिटिकल पार्टी, इट्स लाइक 2 सेक्टर्स, उनके बीच में अगर बैरियर है, यू हैव टू हैव अ मीडियम बिटवीन देम सो दैट दे विल कम्युनिकेट. So what do you think like the youth who are interested like slightly or they are into politics, what is the like medium, what will act like a medium for them so that they will do something good in the political field?
Everything comes down to like both the parties, like the political leaders and the youth itself. If the youth want to be more included, like they want to feel more included into the politics of their country, of their nation, and the political leaders want the youth to be included in something, the medium should be themselves, like they should be like यहाँ से भी एक representative होना चाहिए और यहाँ से भी, so that they can together come as like in front of the people and communicate about what their needs and demands are. Like the medium
Mhm.
should be, I would say, the communication between them. They should not hinder themselves with any other thing. If they really want their nation things like to progress in different ways, they should come forward, they should like talk about it, and that's how things,
Mhm.
basic thing is dialogue, right? So from both
Mhm.
the parties there should be equal dialogue so that they can address the issues they are facing.
Mhm. So I have like a question about it. It's more like a statement, not a question. But I would like to ask that as a youngster, as you are a youngster yourself, and I would like to know that do you see yourself, getting into political field, and if yes, like what are the policies that you might change, or you like would like to keep it there? Like कुछ policies ऐसी होती हैं that are beneficial for the youth and the like overall to the people of the country. So, if do you see yourself getting into political field as a youngster, and if yes, like what will you change?
For it, I would like to say there are a lot of things when we think about getting into politics. And about the policies, I would like to add there are a lot of things which need to be
Mhm.
addressed while as the youth, I would want to be implemented, or I would want to be reformed, the policies.
Mhm.
For example, I would like to make more, the policies related to the education reform. The era we are living in is based on skills. हमारी जो
Mhm.
अभी की generation है, it's more focused, and it's like necessary. We need to have like skill based education rather than the churning up of facts and learning things. So the education policy should work more on skill development. अब आप कहेंगे कि हमारी NEP 2020 के थ्रू ये सब चीजें बोली गई थी,
Mhm.
मतलब लाई गई, इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहे हैं, but it's been 4 years since 2020 and still
Mhm.
the things are like on a halt, and they are coming and going, and we don't
Mhm.
know until when these things are going to
Everything
happen.
is under process. We
So
can't see
yeah,
the
as
results yet.
as
Exactly.
as a youth in politics, as a person who would want to be in politics, I would want these things to be accelerated so that the youth doesn't
Mhm.
suffer at the cost of all these things. there
Mhm.
are there are, I would say, we live in India, right? And the population, we are at the second most populous country in the world right now, and we might not know when we are going to, surpass China in that. So the growing
Mhm.
population right now is like, it's going to be the youth. The main population, the focusing population, is the youth of India right now. And
Mhm.
one of the major concerns of the youth is unemployment. So there should be policies reformed according to the employment scenarios of the youth. Like ऐसी पॉलिसीज आनी चाहिए जिससे एटलीस्ट यूथ जो है वो अनएम्प्लॉयड ना रहे, कोई भूखे पेट ना सोए, लाइक वैसी कुछ पॉलिसीज जिससे
Mhm.
स्किल डेवलपमेंट हो, जॉब क्रिएशन हो, जिससे यूथ खाली गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स पर डिपेंडेंट ना हो, अपनी अर्निंग्स के लिए उनके पास अपने कुछ स्किल्स हो, उनके पास अपनी entrepreneur skills हो, जिनसे उनको
Do
पता
you
हो कि where
believe
they want to go.
do you believe that if like the working class, like the working who are like earning, जिनका वो paycheck to paycheck चलता है, they have like the youth who are literally dependent on the paycheck to paycheck वाला system. So do you believe that उन लोगों को उतना mental stability नहीं होती है कि they will think about going into politics because उनकी life stability comes first. So, do you think that government is not providing a secure opportunities for people, for especially youth, and they are dependent on paycheck to paycheck? So, do you think that lagging, like the political leaders are lagging?
See, if we will talk about that youth political leaders are lagging in things, there is no such thing as that. I would like to address this as, if as I am the working class, I am the working class as the representation of the youth. I would be getting paycheck to paycheck, like jobs and everything, payment at like according to that. What would be my responsibility at that time as the youth? At least I could vote, at least I have the power to vote at that time, and I have the power to vote and get a person who is able and capable of putting policies into my favor. At least that,
Mhm.
as the youth, I can do that time. And if not for that, you're saying that they have a very hectic schedule, I totally completely agree with that thing. So
Mhm.
there comes again the problem there, we need to address this thing at the grassroots level. We need to
Okay.
address this, so that people are made aware that this particular thing needs to be addressed. People should be made aware from the very beginning that the thing that is running our country right now, it's the politics, right? So at least
Mhm.
कहीं ना कहीं पे गवर्नमेंट की भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि वो लोगों तक ये चीज पहुंचाए कि हमारे लिए कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है कि हम अपना इक्वल सपोर्ट दें अपनी पॉलिटिक्स को, हमें अपनी
Mhm.
फुल कंट्रीब्यूशन देनी चाहिए सबको। और एज यूथ हमें इन सब चीजों को अगर हम पहले से ही मद्देनजर रखें, इन फ्यूचर देर माइट बी चेंज विद रिस्पेक्ट टू दैट। मे बी हमारी आगे वाली जनरेशन फिर ये ना कहे कि गलत लोग पॉलिटिक्स में बैठे हैं, या मे बी देर आर दोज पीपल हु आर नॉट अवेयर अबाउट द सिनारियोज। एटलीस्ट अगर हम
Okay.
अपनी
So you talked about the grassroots levels, okay? So what can we do at the grassroots level so that like the youth, for the youth participation, for the major youth participation, like from the grassroots level, as you, the word and as the statement you said. So what are your views about it?
So, if we talk about grassroots level, so there are a lot of things which can be done. We can start campaigns, we can start workshops, we can start webinars. There are a lot of things which can come into play if we look at the grassroots
Mhm.
level initiatives. The thing is, the youth can be made aware by the grassroots level things, the simple initiatives taken in your own, I would say, around you seeing things around you and then implementing it. The youth should
Mhm.
be made aware through campaigns, through workshops. There should be interactive sessions with the youth, and if that's
Mhm.
made possible somehow, the youth are going to know things, and that's going to make them aware from the very basic level, not only through their different caliber, like from the news channels or social media, but from their own
Mhm.
vicinity. They're going to be aware about certain things, and that's going to make them know that they are a part of their country, they are a part of their politics, and they are a part of their country, and they're representing themselves somehow and putting efforts into it.
Mhm. So, do you think, like as you said, we should make campaigns, we should do everything about like the from the very basic levels. Okay, so that's okay. Like people, like particularly the like students, what we call like youth is most like they're studying and they are indulged in a lot of active participation and everything. So, do you think that there is a major role of not like the discouragement of youth in politics because of the political leaders who have been already existing and who have already stabilized their career in the political field?
So yeah, there are political leaderships which are already in, like, I would say they have made their roots deep into the political scenario,
Exactly.
but
Mm-hmm.
the choice is in our hands still. That as the youth of this country, are we really sure that we want to vote them? Are we really sure that we want to get them in power? Are we really sure that we want to re-elect them and getting them into be the political leaders of us? Are we really sure that those are the people who are going to represent us and put policies for that are going to benefit us? Are we really sure that those people are going to be our representatives? So clearly
Mm-hmm.
it would, see, these things are totally in our hands if we would want them to be. But the answer
Mm-hmm.
goes both ways. Sometimes yes, it creates a barrier that okay, they are well established as a family in this political scenario, should we run against them, or should we stand against them, or something like that. But if the youth collectively comes together as an effort, they are going to
Mm-hmm.
make something, and that's going to change a
Mm-hmm.
lot. Mhm.
Do you think that like it's like we talked about the political leaders and the political leaders who have already established themselves, who have a really profound career in the political field? I would like to talk about like what do you think about the political families who like not the political leader but the political families, like एक का एक rule कर रहा है, एक govern कर रहा है, and then उसका बेटा या बेटी comes again and then again and then again, and it's like you know what you call it, a product of political nepotism. So what are your views about it? Do you think that the
Are we
political
not the people at fault for choosing them over and over again?
do
Are
don't you
there
think that there is a lot of like,
or there is a reason that we are choosing them over and over again?
yeah, there is a reason, there might be a reason because they lack options, because there is no youth representation, and they are discouraged, they feel
So
they
what
don't
do you
trust
think,
the
who is
policies.
at, what do you think who's at like taking the toll of all these things?
Toll is on the people, it's always on the people, it's never on the government, it's always on the people. I just want to say that like the political nepotism, what we actually call it, the political nepotism encourages the downfall of the youth participation in politics. Do you believe that?
Yes, I completely believe that. But it's also in the hands of our youth to change that particular
Mhm.
thing that has been made and set up in the political scenarios. It's in the hands
Mhm.
of the youth of our country to get up and stand up against the injustice, or maybe against something that they really don't want to be in power.
Mhm. And
Yes.
I would like to say that like बहुत सारी parties ऐसी भी होती हैं who try to make campaigns and do everything in like to show that we support the development, we do this, we do that. But if उन्हीं के leaders को, उन्हीं के party members को बोला जाए कि वो अपनी कुर्सी छोड़कर किसी एक deserving youth member को दें, do you think they will do that?
clearly everybody is hungry for power and nobody would do
Mhm.
it, right? So
Exactly.
that's where
You are saying that everybody is hungry for power and nobody thinks about people. That is the same thing I am, stating. So, yeah,
that's where the youth needs to take action and like
action
things in
about
their
it.
own hand. And right,
Mhm.
they should be able to know what they really want from their country, what they really want from the policies and the government. And that's
Mhm.
if the youth neglects this basic thing about their own like nation, then they are the
Mhm.
one who are suffering. We as the
We
youth
are
are
the one
suffering.
who are suffering. Exactly. So let me, ask you. Like, there is a lack of trust in politics. Because we think, like, we as youth think that there is no future in the politics. It will take us 10 years. It will take us 20 years to get at a place like जो already political families जहाँ पहुंची हुई हैं और शायद उनका जैसा कर भी ना पाए. There's a lack of trust. There is a lack of like anticipation. There's a lack of faith. So, what do you think? Are there any ways from which we can build the trust and anticipation and for the youth participation?
First of all, what should be done is there should be complete effective communication between two parties. For example, if there is somebody who is going to go on in politics, maybe from अगर हम youth की ही बात करें कि youth से ही कोई बंदा like politics join करना चाहता है, उस उसका बाकी लोगों के साथ जिसको वो रिप्रेजेंट करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, लाइक द यूथ ऑफ हिज ओन एरिया विसिनिटी स्टेट, आई वुड लाइक टू से, उनके बीच
Mhm.
में इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेशन होना चाहिए. उनके बीच में ये बात होनी चाहिए कि अगर मैं किसी चीज को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा हूँ तो किस चीज को लेके कर रहा हूँ. ऐसे नहीं कि हवा में वादे करने हैं कि आई एम गोइंग टू डू दिस एंड देन आई विल प्रोवाइड एम्प्लॉयमेंट टू हाउ दीज मेनी
Mhm.
पीपल एंड आई एम गोइंग टू डू दिस. There should be genuine
Actions,
talks and genuine actions from the people
actions.
who are going
Don't
to
you
go into politics.
don't you think that like it's my opinion? I'm just making a statement that like campaigns and there have been a lot of campaigns. बातचीत बहुत हो चुकी है. So don't you think that government never, like, if the government that is prevailing right now or any other government that has been over years, they don't take any action, they just talk. Don't you think like that?
द थिंग इज अगर यूथ के साथ बात हुई होती तो एक्शन हुआ होता, या मे बी नहीं भी होता, बट पहले बात ही नहीं हो रही है यूथ के साथ.
Okay.
द थिंग इज कि देर इज नो कनेक्टिविटी कि हमें एज अ
Mhm.
यूथ क्या क्या चाहिए होगा. द थिंग इज पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स आर नॉट कंसर्न्ड अबाउट व्हाट द नेशन वांट्स, दे आर कंसर्न्ड अबाउट
Mhm.
व्हाट इज गोइंग ऑन अराउंड देम. हम तो बस टीवी पे देखते
Mhm.
रहते हैं एंड दैट इज इट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर हमारे बीच में इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेशन हुआ, वी गेट टू नो अबाउट what we get to know, we make them know what we want, and then फिर अगर वो एक्शन करे, then we can say no, the political leaders are hearing us right now.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So let me ask you a different question. Like, totally, like, let's move to the. It was a dark part of the politics. Let's move to the positive, like some positive things that government has done. So there's a scheme and there's a program going on. It's a very recent one, Viksit Bharat. Do you know about it?
Yes. Yes, I
Yes.
know
So,
about it.
what do you think about, like? Have you ever seen, like, have you like encountered any involvement of youth in the program known as Viksit Bharat? Have you done that? Have you seen it? Have you
So
experienced it?
I would like to really talk about it. It has been one of its kind initiative taken by the Indian government, and it is really beneficial in its own sense, because the government right now is trying to make India digitalized up to
Mhm,
2047. So they are
mhm,
taking visions, and they are taking, I would say, they are asking the youth, they're asking the youth of India to engage and say about what are their visions regarding how India would be in the next 10 years, and
mhm,
how India is going to be in the next 10 years. So that's something the youth is trying to share their ideas, their goals, their visions about how India should be shaped in terms of healthcare, in terms of education, in terms of different scenarios. And
mhm,
that's giving a sense of involvement to the youth. I have participated in it myself. Recently, it was in our college, we had a program related to this completely in SCOS.
mhm,
So we
mhm,
participated in Viksit Bharat. And the thing is, honestly, for me as the youth, I felt really good that I somehow am taking in part in the Viksit Bharat. And
mhm,
if वैसे ही कैंपेन्स, वैसे ही डिजिटलाइज्ड थिंग्स अगर लॉन्च की जाए हमारी कंट्री में, So
Mhm.
maybe the youth is going to be much more aware about what is going on in their country, and
Much
they're
more
having an
encouraged and
involvement somehow.
entrusted, exactly.
Exactly.
And uh, like I would like to, like, there are so many questions about this topic. I can like literally talk to you for a lot of time. Let's talk about, like, you talked about digital world, you talked about digital things, like everything is getting digitalized these days. So let's talk about social media and the role of social media in, like, youth participation in politics. Do you think it takes a, like, any part, anything, like,
I would say social media, provides a platform where politics can be seen as a positive as well as negative things. But mostly, what happens to us as the youth, we see social media, we see politics as a negative side on the social media, because mostly that's
Mhm.
what's portrayed there, or maybe it
Yes.
is that way. We don't know about it for sure. But the thing
Mhm.
is, whatever is portrayed on social media is like which shows us the negative side of it. Like all those I would say whatever we know about politics is some assemblies, some MPs, some MLA making some statement and then being arrested
Mhm.
and then everything, and these things are like all over the social media. But how can we make it a positive for the youth and for the politics as well? For example, if we would want the youth to be involved in politics more, it's I would say it would be beneficial if there are like Google forms like initiated, so that the political party or a political leader gets to know about the interests of the youth. Particularly, they get to know what
Mhm.
the youth really wants. उनको पता तो चले कि यूथ चाहता क्या है. Maybe through Q&A sessions, maybe through live sessions, maybe through webinars. There are different things that can be organized on social media platforms right now. Everything,
Mhm.
like anyone from anywhere can go on their social media platform and post anything and talk about it. Why not talk about something which is beneficial to us? That is politics. That is beneficial for our nation. That is politics for the youth. So why not do
Mhm.
it?
Okay, it was a really good question, and your answers are really impressive. I feel really honored to talk to you. And I would like to ask you some more questions. Like we talked about, let's go back to the political leaders, let's go back to the political nepotism. I would like to ask you, like, if there were, like, the politics was not a bloody game and it was not a, like, something that is has a stigma towards it, that it's so manipulative, everybody over there is so hungry for the power, hungry for the chair, hungry for like everything, like, do you think that political like, what we call democracy is was and matlab is defined as for the people, from the people, by the people, but don't you think that political leaders nowadays are really self-centered? They only think about their power, as you already said before, like some questions, that they only think about what is going on around them. They don't think what people want. They don't think what how can we represent the youth. Youth is actually the future, of the politics, future of everything rather. So don't you think that political leaders are, like, nowadays political leaders are very self-centered, and they don't look and they don't follow the actual path what democracy means?
This all comes back to how political leaders want to lead their country rather than having the power in their hands. So, as far as it's the topic about youth, so do they really want the youth to be involved in the politics? Do they really want somebody from the youth to represent them and represent the government in its own
Mhm.
self? So, if there are some genuine politicians, they would be aware of the fact that this country is going to be like mostly the population is going to be the youth only. So the policies
Mhm.
and the things that should be mainstream should be about the youth only. So are the like political leaders aware of these things? And if they're not, then there is the problem. That's where we as the youth are suffering, because maybe we would want some things to be implemented like for us, for the benefits of us, and these things are not happening according to us. So that would create a problem, that would create an hindrance according to that. If the political
Mhm.
leaders would want the youth to be involved, they really need to listen and engage with the youth. They really need to
Mhm.
have campaigns. As I already told, they need to include the town people into the politics and talk to them about what they want as the youth. There should be a proper youth representation, as I already mentioned, because if there is
Youth
nobody to
categories.
represent us, if there is nobody to represent us, how are our ideas, our visions, our things that we really want to be presented in front of the government, or in front of the political leaders who need to understand these things?
As you said that political leaders are very, like I said that too, that political leaders nowadays are very self-centered. So don't you think that they never try to talk to you? They never try to come up to any youth, like there are, I can see a lot, like the only participation I can't see is youth in politics, youth in political field. Otherwise I know a lot of youth members, youngsters who are activists, who are like in NGOs, who work for like at the basic levels. Like today, the information, today the education, today everything at is at our doorsteps. Like we can. Even though we are doing this interview, we are doing this debate over like while sitting in our home, so it's very easy. There is a very easy access to everything. So don't you think that political leaders, even though there is like बहुत simplified हो गया है सब कुछ, everything is so digitalized, viksit bharat, everything is so digitalized. So don't you think that political leaders are not giving opportunities to the young people, to the youngsters, just because they think that everything, this toxic cycle that comes up, मतलब बार बार it comes up to the एक ही point कि political leaders सही नहीं है, political leaders सही नहीं है. So it comes up again, the cycle comes up again to the political leaders सही नहीं है. So, don't you think that political leaders don't let youngsters for the mainstream, in the mainstream political field, just because they are threatened by youth?
Do you think it's completely the fault of political leaders, or it's the fault of a youth to not engage themselves in the politics?
It's yeah, basically in my sense it is the fault, like on the basic root level it's the fault of the political leaders, because it's the fault of the political members who are actually involved in it, because they have created such a taboo, such a stigma around politics that everybody is scared. हर कोई बोलता है नहीं ये तो दलदल है, हम इसको साफ करने नहीं जाएंगे. So that is the thing, that is what happens. So don't you think they do it deliberately? They make it like that, and they have the power for generations. वो अपनी generations को, अपनी आने वाली पीढ़ी को सिर्फ generational wealth वसीयत में अपनी कुर्सी लिख के भी देते हैं. So don't you think they are threatened by youngsters? Don't you think they are threatened by youth? Because they might think that okay, कोई नया बंदा आके पूरा system change कर देगा तो हमें problem हो जाएगी. So don't you think like that?
The thing is, if they think like this, then there should be someone जो सब कुछ जो सच में सिस्टम चेंज करे. Maybe there should be something जो सच में इस दलदल को साफ करने की कोशिश करे. And there should be somebody who should stand up against all it and represent the youth and try to engage ourselves into it. हाँ, there is a stigma against the political parties कि it's like there is a negative impact of it. कि there is corruption, there is everything going on around there and here. But the thing which needs to be changed is like if there would be somebody who is true to his words and true to his power, should come in the should come in politics and then engage the youth with it. That would be beneficial in its own sense. If we talk about political leaders being in power who are not rightfully using their power and are scared of losing their power and giving their generational wealth with their generational chair, so the thing is, they should stand. Now there should be a representative. There should be enough encouragement of people, of the youth, to be engaged in it. And देखो वहीं पे सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम यही है कि हमारी यूथ इस सब चीजों को लेके अवेयर ही नहीं है कि उन्हें चाहिए क्या, उन्हें करना क्या चाहिए. उनको ये सब बताया ही नहीं जाता है कि आप लोगों को पॉलिटिक्स में क्यों जाना चाहिए. जब भी पॉलिटिक्स का नाम सोचते हैं लोग, मे बी दे थिंक इट्स मोर अबाउट पावर एंड पैसा. That's one thing that comes with politics. Politics के पी के साथ power and पैसा वाला पी आ जाता है. So it's like it, like, you know, these things look like synonyms to each other. But the thing is, it should change in that way. There should be proper management of what youth wants, and the youth should be educated and made aware about the facts that are going on in their country. Rather than वो अगर इन सब चीजों से डर जाएंगे तो then there would be no change evident कहीं से भी.
Mhm. Nay, I personally believe that there are positive and negative impacts too. Like I talked about the negative impacts, how generational wealth के साथ generational चीजें मिलती हैं, and in product of nepotism, as I already
See,
told you,
but at
political
the same
nepotism,
time, if we
and
look into it, like at the same time, if you look into it, like for you said that there is a generational thing happening, that politics mein, then beta and then beti and everything like that. But the thing is, whosoever is coming into politics like from a family, at least they're aware about the politics. The thing is, they are aware about the politics. हाँ, इसके negative sides, as I told you, that the most of the youth is not aware about the political scenarios of their country or anything. But those people who are in power, उनके at least जो family में है, they are aware about the situations which are happening. They are aware about the political scenarios, and maybe इसीलिए लोग सोचते हैं कि they are well suited to be in politics because they have a background to it. They have a knowledge towards it. They already know what politics is and how they should run a country. And for like with their promises and everything, they come into power. But to make them come in power is still in our hands, and that's what needs to be changed.
No, to be very honest, as I already said, that there are negative things too in politics and there are positive things in politics too. If I'll talk about like the positive side of the like what the ruling government, the existing government has done for the people. जैसे हम बात करेंगे जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर सर का है मन की बात, and it he talks to people, he talks to everybody, and he उनके कंसर्न सुनते हैं. फिर उनके एक्शंस कैसे होते हैं क्या, दैट्स अ वेरी, बिकॉज हर किसी चीज का हर एक टाइम पे पॉसिबल नहीं होता, इट्स नॉट ह्यूमनली पॉसिबल, एंड दैट्स वेरी अंडरस्टैंडेबल. बट द थिंग इज दैट दे हैव मेड campaigns for it. And like, do you know any other like international, if I'll talk about, do you know like how like the ruling government, the government that is prevailing right now, they have done a lot of things like some programs for like लोगों की बात सुनने के लिए. Like I talked about कि दल दल होता है, खराब होता है, वो स्टिग्मा जरूर है, बट इसकी पॉजिटिव चीजें भी हैं. जैसे विकसित भारत की बात की हमने, मन की बात की हमने. डू यू थिंक वहां पे और भी ऐसी पॉलिसीज हैं जो पॉलिटिक्स में इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं, लाइक जो इंटरनेशनली किसी सेक्टर ने, इंटरनेशनली किसी कंट्री ने अडॉप्ट किए हो फॉर यूथ पार्टिसिपेशन?
So if I would like to talk about it, there is a country, Iceland. The thing is, उस country की सबसे ज़्यादा participation है youth involvement. The youth involvement is more in politics, and there are reasons for it. They have established education sector ना ऐसा कि जिसमें they provide civic education from the very beginning कि politics कैसे run होता है. It's not about उनके दिमाग में, उनके बच्चों के दिमाग में ये नहीं है कि it's a dirty game or there is politics and everything. This is about money and everything. They know it from the very beginning how the politics works, how things work, and how policies are made, and how things are involved. They have made youth councils like at the basic level, like हमारी जैसे यहाँ पे municipal corporations and वगैरह चीजें होती हैं, वहाँ पे उन्होंने youth councils बनाए हैं कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल एट द सोसाइटियल लेवल कि एक सोसाइटी को कैसे रन किया जाएगा. लाइक द यूथ आर गिवन द पावर टू रन देयर सोसाइटीज. उससे क्या होता है कि दे गेट द सेंस ऑफ इन्वॉल्वमेंट इन देयर ओन कंट्री कि वी आर रिप्रेजेंटिंग आवर ओन सोसाइटी. हम अपनी सोसाइटी पे ग्रास रूट लेवल पे जब काम कर रहे हैं तो उनको मतलब दे वर्क फॉर देयर ओन सेल्व्स एंड इंक्लूड पीपल अराउंड देम. इट मेक्स देम फील इंक्लूसिव टुवर्ड्स देयर ओन कंट्री दैट टाइम, एंड उससे बेसिक लेवल से ही यूथ की इन्वॉल्वमेंट स्टार्ट होती है. उनके एजुकेशनल इनिशिएटिव्स बहुत ज्यादा अच्छे हैं. दे प्रोवाइड प्रॉपर पॉलिटिकल इंफॉर्मेशन टू देयर like the youth, their students, about their policies and everything, so that and with respect to decision making skills, they provide them information related to the decision making skills कि हम हमारी country में decisions कैसे लिए जाते हैं. There are proper scenarios and proper establishments made there so that they are well aware कि उनके youth क्या क्या कर रहे हैं, कैसे कर रहे हैं, और उनका youth represent कर रहा है अपने like एक proper group को, ताकि वो आगे अपनी बात पहुंचाए कि as the youth of the nation, अपने nation का वो कैसे involve करे अपने आप को. And although there is like everywhere there is online thing going on, there is a digitalization of everything, so unki online participation hai. They have different websites made, different apps made according to what they have to do in a particular type of thing. So they have made proper arrangements with respect to this, which makes the youth feel that नहीं, हम खाली यहाँ पे रोटियां तोड़ने के लिए, jobs ढूंढने के लिए, पढ़ने के लिए नहीं बैठे हैं, हम अपनी country में कुछ part भी दे रहे हैं. We are involving ourselves into the progress of our nation, and that's what makes them feel involved, and that's what makes them live the spirit of being अ पार्ट ऑफ देयर ओन कंट्री, जिसकी वजह से उनको ये नहीं लगता है कि जिनके हाथ में है तो रहने दो. दे लिव फॉर देयर कंट्री, दे डू थिंग्स फॉर देयर कंट्री, एंड it's made possible not only by them, it's not made possible by only by their participation, it's made possible by the government too, कि उनकी पार्टिसिपेशन नेसेसरी है, तब जाके आगे वो इस बात को ले जाएंगे कि चीजें कैसे जा रही हैं. उनकी उनकी जो कंट्री है, देयर इज प्रॉपर जेंडर इक्वालिटी, वहां पे किसी भी जेंडर पे बायस नहीं है कि इस पॉलिटिकल पार्टी में या इस हमारी गवर्नमेंट में इतने मतलब मेल्स हैं या फीमेल्स हैं. देयर इज इक्वल allowance to anybody who would want to join politics in their country, and it makes them feel a sense of unity within their own. इसकी वजह से यूथ को ऐसा नहीं लगता है कि they don't want to like participate there.
Mhm. So, do you think there is a major stigma around politics, as I said? And do you think that, are there any mediums how we can work on the stigma?
See, as I already told, there is lack of civic education. There is limited access to information. There are age restrictions within the own. Like for example, there are age restrictions about who could be the PM of our country, who could be the president of our country. Well, leave the PMs and CMs aside. The basic scenario. Let's talk about the members who represent their constituency in the assembly or anywhere. There are age limits, there are restrictions on the basis of that, there are financial constraints based on that. Politics में आने के लिए लोगों को पैसे की भी जरूरत होती है, and as the youth there are like less sources of money. तो ऐसी भी चीजें हैं जो मतलब ब्रॉड स्ट्रीम की गई हैं. तो टू एंड दैट बैरियर, सबसे पहली चीज ये है कि यू सबसे पहला, देर इज ओनली वन थिंग दैट शुड बी इन्वॉल्व, दैट इज हाउ टू एंगेज पीपल into the politics, how to engage the youth and make them feel that they're secure in their own skin and in their own power, that they don't need anything else other than this.
And um, like there are a lot of questions that I can ask about it, and आज के लिए हम इतना ही रखते हैं. And I would like to end this session.
Okay.
एंड हमारे साथ थी रुतबा गुलजार फ्रॉम स्कॉश कश्मीर, फैकल्टी ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर से. एंड हमने काफ़ी like information ली. We gathered a lot of information about youth and politics, as we always do. And make sure that you people are still engaged with us for like upcoming programs. Thank you so much.